I wrote every single person. At this moment in time, I think we had something like 18 people turn up because the belief had gone. No one was joining the paras anymore from Harrogate. So not only are we getting a 20% pass rate, we're getting a 20% pass rate of 18 people, sometimes 10 people. First iteration, we had 18. By the time I'd finished, there was 120 people starting Parachute Regiment Depot off the back because the belief came back. And the way that we did it is I individualized trains every single person. I tested them, I trained them, and I repeated the process until we had a physical output. I was like, right, we are not going to make them, we'll make them a little bit better performance-wise. What's the one thing that's stopping them from passing? They can't withstand the rigors of training. So all I need to do is make them strong.
Is this tabbing specifically?
No.
I would have thought that would have been the break.
So at this moment in time, I was studying adolescent physical development. You got to remember these are kids. We was training them the same as we train adults. You can't do that with 16-year-olds. So at 16 as a male, you were going through like changes in maturational. For females, this is slightly earlier, but I didn't need to worry about that because no females would join the paras. This comes apparent later on when I changed the whole game for the Army Foundation College. So I studied adolescent physical development. They was going through a maturational status window. So they was what's known as peak height velocity. So at 16 years old, don't know if anyone in here has got kids at 16. They grow significantly at this moment in time, peak height velocity. They grow at the most amount that they do from when they've been a baby. And the reason is like testosterone levels are going through the roof. They're going through puberty. So your limbs are growing. That's why they're dozy and they knock into things because they don't understand their limbs or their body's in motion. So balance and proprioception is off. If you add load to that equation, it's a recipe for disaster. So they can't walk properly. They can't run properly. And all of a sudden we're throwing Bergens on them. So what I was doing is I was making these limbs as they was lengthening stronger so that when we did put the Bergen on, the load upon your back would tax you less because you're stronger. And I developed this taxonomy of like how what you can back squat then turns into single leg strength, which then turns into what you can carry and move forward with load. Testosterone levels are going through the roof at this peak height velocity, at this window of opportunity, I called it. Fucking stack the boys. Get them strong. Make hypertrophy. Let's make them as strong as possible. I don't need to make them paratroopers. I need to make them strong enough so that the world-class instructors at Depot can make them paratroopers. It's not my job right now. My job is to give them a foundation of strength to develop. So we did that. It was a gamble. I had no idea. But that was my thought and feelings, my theory. I studied. I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a day. And
there's loads of like, high level theory in here, but like almost to drill it down, it's like we just need to get my squat a little bit.
Make them stronger. So, which inevitably is squatting because that's where we can lift the most amount of load. But in order to squat, I needed to test their 1RM in order to work within percentages and perception from within that.
Did that range massively amongst each recruit?
Yeah, 100%. So, and again, the runners who was the best at Harrogate because they could run a really quick 1.5 mile run were getting found out really early. And I was like, you boys are going to fail. You need to get strong. Here's what we're going to do. So we did this program. One of the other best things was the psychological side of life, so psychosocial. We ate pizza together. I wrote to Defence Nutrition, the naval something, and for the first time in Army's history, I managed to get that meal that the Marines get in the night time for these guys. I basically gave the science, said, here's the window of opportunity, here's what's happening, here's my plan. We need this amount of calories.
They're not fat, are they? They're not coming through overweight.
No, not these boys anyway. So I managed to get an extra meal, but the meal wasn't just to provide nutrition, it was to provide a space where I can bring paratroopers in. Everyone eats together. Because what you got to remember as well is when you're in Harrogate, there's 1,000 people going through Harrogate. And if there's only 20 of you turn up at training, the likelihood that you've bumped into one of these 20 is very slim. If they're not in your platoon, again, like we mentioned when I was in SFSG, you don't know anybody. So when you first turn up, all of a sudden you're looking down the line, you're thinking, I don't know anybody. That's okay at week 1, day 1 depot, an adult depot, because you learn as you go along. But at week 14, you're expected to do team tasks. So it's different. So I needed to get them to know each other. And the analogy I utilize is that one of the tests on P Company is the log. And I said, right, I want you to look to your left and right. You have no idea who's going to be on the other side of that log, but it's going to be one of you. And I gave numbers and stats and digits and said, the log weighs this, you weigh this, here's what happens when you move it forward. But lo and behold, the bottom line is 100% of that log will start and 100% of that log will finish. If there are 8 of us on it, we all take a share of that log. If one of you drops off, we still have, the 7 of us have to carry that log. Another person drops off, the 6 of us have to carry that log. I've seen a single person drag the log over the line to finish B Company. It doesn't matter. And P Company staff just stood around watching him, going, move it. Let's see what you got. They get on it after it to help him, but it's like, start with, they want to see if you're going to go.
That person's coming with maximum points as well.
Yes. So I'm basically looking along this line and saying, are you going, not, am I going to make you fit enough to carry the log? Are you going to be the man who lets that person to your left and right take 100% of that load? Are you going to give him that load? That's on you. I was creating this thing where we're now in this together, so we can do it together and it's going to be easier and we can suffer together, because you're not special. The pain hurts everybody. It's whether there's 1 of you on it or 8 of you on it, it hurts. Shit bust. Whether you're toggle man or you're at the back, it hurts. There's no pain like it. Same across like the stretch and stuff, which I think's worse, by the way. So I created this. First iteration, we moved up to a 42% pass rate of those people. We then doubled the amount of people that started the next stop Achilles, and we moved to 48% pass rate. We went up again, and we moved to 52. Before, the pass rate was 60%, which is the highest in parachute regiment, and the 17-year-old kids. I won some awards for that, but I think the most significant thing that when I was getting my award and I was stood in front of people, I said, the significance isn't what we've done, it's what we'll be. And these guys aren't going to get injured. We've built something here whereby they're not in this, they're not going to get a knee injury in 4 years, 5 years. You've got a kid for 20 years here, 24 years if you need be. Their bodies won't break down because we've built the foundation. We've done it right. And that's the beauty of this. On top of that, the likelihood that if you got to P Company, the likelihood of you passing went up to 88.5% of a 17-year-old kid.
Which is outrageous.
Which is outrageous. 9 out of 10. Only 1 of you are now going to fail. And that's 1 week of training.
Was that injury as well, probably?
No, just not good enough. Simply not good enough, which is fine. We can take that on the chin. So mostly injury, which you can't account for.
You don't want 100% pass rate anyway, do you? That suggests it's probably not hard enough.
Yeah. But, so out of my up Achilles lot, there was an 89% chance of passing, or 88.5.